This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, dear participants. I am Benak Patel, and I am working as assistant professor in the Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering, and I am having over 10 plus years of experience. My area of interest are IoT, robotics, computer vision, and machine learning. And along with this area of interest, I am an active YouTuber, and I am having a YouTube channel by name Digital Soup, wherein I am having 700, close to 700 subscribers. And I'm the college coordinator for Eyantra ELSI Labs of IIT Bombay. And our college students have been representing most of the events of IIT Bombay and have bagged prizes every year for the college. And they have been participating in various hackathons organized by IEDC Cell as well as KBITS. Here in our college, me with our professors have been conducting over 30 plus FDPs as well as STBs over the topic Internet of Things for various engineering colleges of India. Okay, so without further ado, let's start with our session. So here in this Atal FTP by the topic building smart things by leveraging IoT technology. So here in this session, I'll take you through how to download and where to download Arduino IDE, followed by how to install this Arduino IDE, followed by how to connect Arduino Uno to laptop or PC, personal computer. Followed by we'll see how to identify COM port number. We'll see how to identify COM port number when Arduino Uno is connected to our PC or laptop, followed by if there are any discrepancies in that COM port, how to change COM port number, followed by a walk through Arduino IDE environment. So this will be the content of my session. So here, let's see how to download Arduino IDE. First, you got to open up any browser of your choice. So here I have opened Brave browser. So in the URL bar, let me magnify this. So over here in any browser of your choice, in the URL bar, type Arduino IDE software download. and hit enter. Now here the very first link that which we get under www.arduino.cc is where we are supposed to right click and open the link in new tab. So after doing that, so this is where you can see that arduino.cc/en/software link has opened. Let me zoom out a bit. So right now the current version of Arduino IDE that which is available is Arduino IDE 1.8.13. So this is under downloads heading. So here on the right half, you can see download options. And here, depending upon your OS, depending upon your system OS, so depending upon your OS, whether if you are a Windows user or if you are a Linux user or if you are a Mac user, so depending upon your OS operating system, you can download respective software, Arduino IDE software over here. So for that, what you got to do is if you are a Windows user, you can go for any of the three choices here. And out of these three choices, what I recommend is to go for the very first link, that which is Windows, Win7 and newer version of OS. So you can go for this starting link. And if you're a Linux user, depending upon the number of, depending upon the OS bit, if it's a 32-bit kind of OS, Linux OS, or 64-bit supporting kind of Linux, you can go for respective Linux Arduino IDE link. And if you're a Mac user, you can go for this link. And over here, because right now I'm using Windows OS, what I'll do is, I'll go for this link. So what I'll do is I'll just tap on this. Now this thing will take you to one more page where it will ask you for donation. So it usually asks you for the donation because this Arduino is open source community. So this Arduino is open source community. So this open source community relies majorly on the donations given by the users because there are no funding agency for these open source kind of community. So what you can do is, if you're interested, you can contribute however whichever amount you like. So just by entering the amount in dollars and then going for contribute and download. And for time being, what we'll do is we'll just go for just download. We'll go for just download. So here, let me hit on this. So here, because I have already downloaded the software, it is showing that you have already downloaded. Let me re-download this. So this Arduino IDE is about 111.58 MB. Let me zoom in. Let me zoom in a bit to show you the exact size of this Arduino. So it's about 111.58 MB of software. So now what I'll do is I will hit start download. So here I have installed one more piece of software called as Internet Download Manager. So need not to worry if you are having any kind of downloader, it gets downloaded. So let's wait for this piece of software to get downloaded. So this downloading depends upon your internet connection speed. So this is hardly taking 2 minutes. So in the meantime, we can also go through the hardware part, that which is available in the web. So here you can go through a brief introduction about Arduino products. So followed by entry level. So there are a lot of variants that which are available in Arduino. So here we like the students usually go for Arduino Uno kind of development board. So we usually prefer this sort of development board. Just a minute. Can you please share the download link? Yes, I'll share. I'll share the download link. All you got to do is you got to go to arduino.cc/en/software. So let me copy this URL. So participants, I have pasted the download link for Arduino IDE in the chat section. So those who were not getting the download link can make use of this link that which I have pasted in the chat section in order to download the software. And depending upon the kind of OS that which you are using, kindly go for your respective OS Arduino IDE. Because if you are a Linux user, you cannot install the one that which is for Windows, and similarly for Mac OS. Okay, well. So I'm done with Arduino IDE download. So now what I'll do is I'll open the folder. So here is where you can see that I have downloaded the Arduino IDE software, and its version is 1.8.13. And this is with a duplicate number because because earlier I had downloaded this piece of software. So what I'll do is, in order to install this .exe file, and you can see that the type is application. Now what I'll do is I'll right click on this. I'll right click on this executable file, and I'll select run as administrator. So guys, please follow the same steps. What you can do is you can right click on the executable file that which is of type application, and later you can hit on run as administrator. You can hit on run as administrator. So just by doing so, Windows OS will ask, do you want to allow this application to make changes to your device? So here you got to hit on yes. So hit on yes. After doing that, you got to hit on I agree. After doing that, so this Arduino IDE is a bundled software where you can see that it also contains USB driver software and other related softwares also. So here, after this just keep on hitting next. And now you can see that by default, so let me zoom in a bit. So here you can see that this is the path where our Arduino IDE will get installed. So by default, this piece of software is getting installed in this path C drive, and under that program files. Cross86 is 32-bit followed by Arduino. So it creates a folder by name Arduino. Or if you want to change this path, you can also hit on browse and you can create your own folder, or in any of the other logical drive, you can create one more folder and you can install it. But the recommended drill is to allow whatever path it's giving. So after this, you got to hit on install. And you can see that this bundled software is getting extracted. So participants, please follow the same drill. You can also hit on show details. In order to specifically see what all packages are getting installed. So this installation process takes its own time. So be patient. Meanwhile, we were discussing the boards that which are available, various kinds of boards that which are available for doing projects and all. So here you can see that what we prefer is we recommend students to use Arduino Uno for their learning purpose because it's quite handy, and the students can go for Arduino Nano. So the selection of development board itself is an activity. So selection of development board itself is an activity because it's very important, because if your project demands a smaller size, then it's preferable to go for Arduino Nano. So that which is almost a tiny kind of very, very small size development board. So if your project is demanding very small size, then it's usually preferred to go with Arduino Nano. And if your project is demanding more number of pins as well as more number of USB ports, then it's recommended to go for Arduino Mega. So even though it's not mentioned over here, you can go for that. But for learning sake, we usually prefer Arduino Uno. So because this is an open source community, you can see that they have manufacturers have modified the same architecture for their own needs, and they have come up with a lot of variants. And here is where you can see that we are having Arduino Mega. So this Arduino Mega has a lot of ports. So that is, if our application demands more number of UART ports that which are containing TX and RX pins, if our project demands more number of UART pins, we can go for Arduino Mega, and it all depends. And there are a lot of shields also available. And what we do with these shields is we'll place it on the Arduino development boards. Okay, let's see whether we are done with our installation. Yes, we are done with our installation, and we can confirm this installation completion just by looking at this completed message. So right now we are done with our installation. All we got to do is we got to hit on this close. So hit on close, and you can see that a shortcut has been created on your desktop screen. So let me zoom in. So here is where you can see that. So this is what has been created on my desktop screen, Arduino, and you can also see that it's showing the path where it has got installed. And in order to launch this Arduino IDE, what I got to do is I got to double tap on this, double left click. So you can see that it's an open project written, debugged, and supported by Arduino.cc and Arduino community worldwide. So the community is so strong that whatever sensors you take or whatever actuator you take, all its library has been written so that the code size gets reduced. So the community of Arduino is very, very strong. Okay, well. So this is Arduino IDE environment. So this is the section where we can write our program. And this two functions. One is what and the other one is what do. So it has two sections. One is what setup, and the other part is what loop. So similar to that of if I consider our C program, all it has is a single main function. All it has is a single main function. But here, the structure of the program itself is like this. It has two main functions. One is what setup. One is what setup. The other one is what loop. So what we do is we usually write declarations or initializations under this what setup. So what setup executes only one time. It gets executed only one time. And if I want something, some piece of code to get executed repeatedly, what I do is I'll write that part in what loop. As the name itself indicates, it's a loop. Whatever I write here gets executed again and again infinitely. It gets executed infinitely. So why it should get executed infinitely? Any answers? Can I have some answers in chat? Why should I want something to get executed infinitely? Why? Why so? Why would I want something to get executed continuously or infinitely? Can I have some answers in the chat? Participants. Blinking LED, yes, that's a program, but why would I need something to blink or something to do to retrieve data continuously? Okay, fine. Any other answers? Any other answers? Sujauddin, your answer is almost close enough. To make program work continuously, yes. For continuous output, yes. Continuously run some motors, yes, yes. So most of the answers are correct. So most of the applications, most of the embedded applications specifically, most of the embedded applications that which we design, they're all based on super loop approach. They're all based on super loop kind of programming. Super loop means it's all about never ending kind of programming, or basically how we achieve this super loop kind of programming in C language is by having while of one. By having while of one, we can attain the same kind of execution under C program. But whereas under Arduino IDE, we can also achieve the same kind of super loop programming by having or by writing the code under void loop. Okay, well. So right now, this is our program. Now the thing is, so this is the structure, and it has gained its structure. And here we won't be calling this as program. From now on, what we'll do is we'll call Arduino Uno programs by the name Sketch. We call Arduino Uno programs by the name Sketch because its structure has been derived from one more piece of software called as processing. So processing structure has been used for Arduino IDE environment, and this processing was a piece of software that which was used to create short animation videos. So here, instead of calling Arduino Uno as a program, what we'll do is we'll make use of the terminology Sketch, because this Arduino IDE is based on this processing software, and this processing software was used to create some animation, some small animation sort of videos. Okay. So by now we got to know why Arduino program is called as Sketch. Now, in order to increase its font size, what we can do is we can hover our mouse to file. After hovering onto file, I got to left click. After left clicking, somewhere down below in the drop down list, you can find preference. So hit on this preference. Hit on the preference, and this is where you can find editor font size. Let me zoom in a bit. So this is where you can adjust the font size. So let me change this to 20. After changing this to 20, I can scroll down and I can hit on OK. So just by doing so, you can see that its font size has been increased instantly. Okay. So by now we got to know how to change its font size, and let's try to go through few more. Let's go through few more options that which are necessary to learn about Arduino IDE. Okay, well, now over here, this Arduino IDE is so powerful that it comes up with its own examples. So here you need not to worry if you are new, if you are a beginner, if you are a starter. So here this Arduino IDE is a bundle wherein it comes up with its own examples. So here all you got to do is you can go for file. After hitting on file, you can find examples, and under examples you can start with this basics, and under basics you can go for blink. So here, so we always start with blink program. We always start with blink program if we are trying to learn any kind of embedded kind of or development board, any development board, if we are trying to learn any kind of development board, we usually start with blink program. So this blink program is similar to that of hello world program. Hello world program in programming languages. you take up any programming language, be it C, C++, or Python, we always start learning all these programs with Hello World program in a similar way. In a similar way, what we'll do is we'll always start with, if you're learning, be it Arduino Uno or be it any kind of ARM-based kind of development boards, LPC 1768 or LPC 2148, we always start it with a Blink program. So here, so as I said, this Arduino Uno, this Arduino IDE comes up with its own examples. All I got to do is I got to hit on file, hover to examples, and under basics, I can find this Blink program. So this is the third program in the list. So just by hitting on this Blink, you can find the Blink program getting open. So this is an example code, and this example code has been authored by Scott Fitzgerald and somewhere around 8th May 2014, and it has been modified in 2nd September 2016 by Arturo. So I cannot spell the name, but still. So these are all the comments. So these are all the comments, and these comments are indicated with. So multiple lines comments are indicated with /*. So this indicates the start of the comment. So this comment is very necessary. This is, the sound is not coming. So am I audible? Am I audible? Or is there any difficulty being faced by participants? Can I have some answers in the chat? Am I audible? Kuldeep Kumar is finding some problem issue. Okay, Radhika. Okay, well, okay. Let's continue then. Let's continue. So this /* indicates the start of the comment. If we are trying to comment multiple lines, what we'll do is we'll go for this /* that which indicates the start of the comment. Okay, but why comments are necessary? Comments are necessary because it's used for better readability of the program. Better readability. So why readability? Even though this is a high level language, it's somewhat more like English, but still, let's say you have programmed some program, and let's say after 1 week or after 1 month, if you start to go through the program that you have written, you will be like you will be shocked to know that. So was that program written by me? So in order to have a better readability of the program, we got to have this comments. So comments are very essential. So this is our Blink program, and you can see that this has nothing to do with the actual program. Only thing is this piece of lines are explaining where exactly onboard LEDs are located in Arduino Uno, Mega, as well as Zero. So here we do also have one more terminology called as onboard LED, and this onboard LED terminology is predefined so that this onboard LED differs from board to board. So thereby, just by using this LED underscore built-in, what we can do is, even though we don't know its exact pin number, even though if we don't know the exact pin number, all I got to do is I got to make use of this terminology. Just by mentioning this terminology, the Arduino IDE finds the onboard LED. Okay, well. So you can see that we are having this onboard LED connected to digital pin 13 on Arduino Uno, and it varies from board to board. Okay. So if I scroll down, here, so this is where you can see that in order to comment a single line, what we'll do is similar to that of other programming languages, we'll make use of double slash in order to comment single line. we'll use this double slash. Okay, and here they have written the setup function runs only once when you press reset or power of the board. So here is where I'm having this board setup, and you can see that we have initialized digital pin using this terminology LED underscore built-in as output. You can find, so this is the function. So in Arduino IDE, what we'll do is we'll rely majorly on functions. Will majorly depend on lot of functions. What we'll do is only thing is we'll pass some arguments. So these are the arguments that which are getting passed, and the starting argument over here is LED underscore built-in, that which is nothing but digital pin 13 of Arduino Uno, followed by what we're trying to do with that pin is we are trying to make it as output. We are trying to change its mode to output mode. We are changing its output, its mode to output. So here, let me try to take you through the actual functionality of this pin mode command. So here, if I want to know its actual meaning, what I can do is I can hover my mouse to help, and under help, I can find something called as reference. So just hover your mouse to help, and down in the drop-down list, you can select reference. By hitting on reference, even though you are, so this doesn't need any sort of internet. So the reference page will open all by itself. And if you scroll down here, you can see under functions, specifically digital input output. Under functions, digital input output, I can find this pin mode. So what I'll do is I'll hit on this pin mode, and let's see what exactly this pin mode function does. So this pin mode function configures a specified pin to behave either as input or an output. And this description also has the syntax way of how that function has to be used. So pin mode is usually, and you can see that here pin, they are all small cases, but whereas M is capital. So here, this is a specific kind of casing that which is used over here. So you got to mind this. So PIN is small in case, but whereas only capital M. So this is capital M followed by again small cases. And arguments. The very first argument is pin number followed by the mode, whether I am trying to configure it in input mode or output mode. So you can see the parameters or the arguments. So pin is nothing but the number of pins whose mode you wish to set, followed by under mode, I can either make it as input or output, followed by input pull-up. So later, while going through a lot of examples, we'll see how exactly we can configure any digital pin as input pull-up. And they also have a piece of example here. They have also given this example of blink. Okay, but let's get back to our actual program of blink. Now, this is our program. So where in the what setup we have initialized LED built-in as output mode, and followed by, because I want the LED to blink continuously, because I want my LED to blink continuously or infinitely, So what I will do is I'll write that part of code under void loop. So where you can see that I'm depending upon one more function, and this one more new function is digital write. And you can also, and here you can also notice that digital is all small in case, but whereas we are having W in capital. So digital is all small, but whereas we are having capital W, again small case, right? And again, this digital write is again a function that which is that which is in taking two more arguments, that is pin number followed by the value. So here what we'll do is we are making use of this digital write, and let's say you want to know its actual meaning. All you got to do is you got to place your cursor. All you got to do is you got to place your cursor here, and under help you can see that we are having one more option called as find in reference. All I can do is I can go to reference and I can specifically search for that specific function. But in order to avoid that all those cumbersome activities, what I can do is I can make use of this functionality, that is find in reference, whose shortcut is Control Shift F. The shortcut is Control Shift F. So what you can do is you can place your cursor. You can. I hope everyone can see the cursor blinking. I hope everyone can see this. Everyone can see this cursor blinking. All I got to do is I got to hit on Control Shift F. I got to hit on Control Shift F. Just by hitting Control Shift F, it will take me to. So this thing will take me to specifically onto that function. All I got to do is place my cursor, on the function name. After placing the cursor on the function name, all I got to do is from the keyboard, I got to hit Control plus Shift plus F, where F refers to find in reference, It's as simple as that. Okay, well. So here you can see that this digital, the syntax of digital write, wherein the very first argument is pin number followed by the value, and under value it can either take high or low. High means 5 volts and low means 0 volts. Again, let's get back to our actual function, blink function. So followed by we are having. So what we'll do is we'll make pin number 13, digital pin number 13 high for. Will make this digital pin 13 high for only 1 second, because I want this LED to blink. So what we'll do is, if I think of this to be my Arduino Uno, so this is where it has its built-in LED. So this is built-in LED. So continuously change this pin number 13 value. What I got to do is I got to from high to low, and again from low to high continuously. What I'll do is, in order to create one more function called as, all I got to do is, and I got to hit on Control Shift F from the keyboard. So just by doing that, you can see that it will take me to delay function, wherein under description I can see that. So this delay function pauses the program for the amount of time, and this amount of time is, you got to be careful here. The amount of time here mentioned is in terms of millisecond. So this is in terms of milliseconds. So milli is 10 power minus 3. So 10 power minus 3. So if I were to create one delay of 1 second, if I were to create delay that is equal to 1 second, what should I do? I should pass what value? So if I just do this delay within the brackets 1, it creates 1 millisecond of delay, but I want 1 second of delay, for which I increase its value. I increase its value to 10 power plus 3. So by multiplying it with 10 power plus 3, so the powers will add up, we'll be left with 10 power 0 or anything to the power of 0 is 1. So that's how we'll create delay that is equal to 1 second. So here back in our program, so in order to create a delay of 1 second, we'll pass the argument as 1000. Likewise, we'll make this LED built-in to go to low state again for 1 second, and this will execute continuously in this loop infinitely until we remove the power connection. This execution will be happening continuously. Okay, and now let's see how this connection is done, how this connection is being there. So right now we got to know about right now we got to know how to download Arduino IDE followed by its installation. Now let's see how to connect Arduino Uno to our laptop or PC. So for this connection, all we got to do is we got to make use of something called as serial cable. All we got to do is we got to make use of serial cable, and this serial cable is of it's having USB type A on one end and USB type B on the other end. So let me show you the serial cable, how exactly it looks like. So this is the serial cable. So this is the serial cable that which we are having, and you can see that here we are having USB type A. This is this is serial cable, and this end is USB type A that which goes to one of the USB port of the PC, and the other USB that which we are having is this is USB type B, and this goes to, so this is Arduino Uno board. So this is Arduino Uno board. So what we'll do is we'll connect USB type B to the slot that which is provided in Arduino Uno, and the other end that which we are having, the other end that which is USB type A, will take this connection and will connect it to one of the port of our laptop. And I hope you all can see that this thing is getting powered up. So I hope everyone, you can see some LEDs are glowing on it. And this is where we are having our reset switch. Let me zoom in this. I hope you all can find this a small switch over here. So this switch is reset key. I can power up this Arduino Uno in 3 different ways. One is, all I can do is I can make use of this serial cable. So this serial cable will act like a downloading cable as well as it supplies power. Or I can also make use of this barrel connector. So let me adjust the lightings. Even though it's not clearly visible, but I hope you all can find this barrel connector slot. So all I can do is I can make use of an adapter, and I can connect that slot to barrel slot, and that's how I can power up this Arduino Uno. And the third way by which we can power up this is in this Arduino Uno pins. I hope you all can find this V in, even though it's not clearly visible. So this Arduino Uno has a pin by name VIN. All I can do is I can supply a regulated power supply of 5 volt DC through some connection. Okay, let me change its connection. Let me change its orientation. I hope you all can find this VIN. Okay, participants, I hope you all can see this laser light. So I hope you all can see where it's being located. So this is V pin. All I can do is I can either connect a regulated power supply of 5 volts to this V pin using some connecting wires, or I can connect it to this. I can make use of an adapter and I can connect it to this barrel slot, or I can go for this USB wire or the serial cable. And this is the reset switch. This is the reset switch, and this is where we are having the clock crystal, that which is of 16 megahertz. Okay. Now let's try to, so right after connecting this Arduino Uno with that of our laptop, a COM port will be assigned to this Arduino Uno. And let's see how exactly we can identify this COM port. So the next step in this session is to identify COM port number. Okay. And in order to identify this, COM port is nothing but communication port. COM port is nothing but communication port. Any peripheral that which is getting connected with that of our PC. So if I consider this to be my laptop, so any peripheral, any external device that which I connect to this PC will be assigned a specific COM port, or the full form is communication port. Any sort of communication that is happening with this laptop or PC is based on a COM port. And let's see how this COM port can be identified. In order to identify this COM port, all I got to do is I got to go to this PC. Let me zoom in. All I got to do is I got to go to this PC, right click, and here you can see that right after right clicking, I hope you all can see the second option, that is manage. You got to hit on manage. So right after doing that, so you will get a window like computer management. You will get a window with titled computer management, under which you can find on the left column, let me zoom in. So this is the computer management window that which has opened after clicking on manage from this PC, and somewhere down here you can find device manager. So this is where you can find the device manager. So you got to left click on this device manager. So after clicking on this device manager, on the main window, you can see it lists. On the main window, you can see that it lists lot of peripherals that which are connected with our PC. And somewhere in the bottom, we have an option by the name ports. Let me zoom in. So we have an option by the name ports. So all I got to do is I got to expand this ports and see that because this Arduino IDE had the serial cable driver also, it has allotted with our laptop has successfully identified this peripheral that which is by name Arduino Uno, and it has assigned it with a communication port that which is with the number 13. And let me tell you, this COM port number will vary from PC to PC. So here for my laptop, it has assigned COM port number 13, and for your PC or for your laptop, it might show up with some other number. But make sure that to make sure you note down that number. Make sure that you note down that number. So that's how we can identify the communication port number that which has got allotted. And over here, if you don't like this number 13, you can also change this number. All I got to do is I got to right click on this and I got to hit on properties. I got to hit on properties, and here right after general, I am having one more tab called as port settings, under which you can see that because this serial communication happens over UART, it is associated with its own baud rate, that which is 9600, wherein we will be transmitting 1 byte of data every time, and we are not using any sort of parity. And here the number of stop bits used is 1, and there is no flow control assigned. So here, if I want to change the COM port number, all I got to do is I got to hit on this port settings. Under port settings, I got to hit on advanced, and under advanced, in here down below, you can see that COM port number is there, followed by a field which has a drop down option. So just by hitting on, after hitting on this drop down option, so you can see that you can see a lot of COM ports that which are available. And only thing is I cannot make use of COM ports that which are already in use. All I can do is I can either go for COM port 1, COM port 2, or followed by COM port 13. So this, all these COM ports have been already assigned by Windows OS. They are already in use. So I cannot terminate them. All I can make use of is COM port 1, 2, followed by 13. So here, let me change this into COM port 2. After selecting COM port 2, all I got to do is I got to hit on OK. I got to hit on this OK. One more OK. And we can see that we have successfully changed our COM port assigned by OS. This is how we can intentionally change the assigned COM port. Okay, well, let me close this device manager window. By now we got to know that our board has been detected under COM port 2. So the next thing is under Arduino IDE, what I got to do is I got to select this specific board, because this Arduino IDE can be used to program a lot of development boards. So right now we are specifically into Arduino Uno. For that, I need to select Arduino board, for which you can see that under boards, I can easily go for this Arduino AVR boards. Under that, you can see that there are a lot of variants. There are a lot of variants that which are available. And here I got to specifically go for Arduino Uno. I got to specifically go for Arduino Uno development board. So after doing so, you can see that we have selected the board selected as Arduino Uno. Let me zoom in. The board selected is Arduino Uno, and under ports, you can see that earlier. So under ports, you can see that we have intentionally changed our COM port to COM 2, and you can see that within the brackets it has written Arduino Uno. So that's the other way by which we can confirm that the COM port 2 has been allotted for Arduino Uno communication. And I got to select this. We got to select this. After selecting this, you can see that there is a tick mark assigned in front of this COM port. So that's how we can get confirmation that there is a successful connection between our laptop and the Arduino Uno board. Okay. So after this, what we can do is, because this Arduino Uno is a high-level language, what we got, but Arduino Uno is a machine or a development board that which can understand only machine level language, for which we got to down convert it to machine level, for which we will make use of a compiler. So in order to compile this program, all I got to do is I got to hit on this tick mark. All I got to do is I got to hit on this tick mark. So just by doing this, down below here, I can see a message like this sketch is getting compiled. So here sketch is nothing but the program name. So it takes a while to compile the sketch. Participants, okay, down below here, you can see that we are done with compiling. We can clearly see that we are getting a message. We are getting a message wherein we can see that the compilation has been done. So after compilation has been done, we can get to know that this high level language has got down converted to some machine level language, and this machine level language in turn can be dumped or downloaded to Arduino Uno. And in order to download this program, all we got to do is so there is one more button very next to compile button, very next to this verify, we are having one more arrow mark that which says upload. So upload here is nothing but like the download process. It's referring to the downloading process. All I got to do is I got to hit on this upload. And down here again, the entire program will compile again, followed by it will upload. So there's a technical problem here. Let me redo this entire drill again. So right now the program is getting uploaded and we are done with uploading. Right now we are done with our uploading, and let me show you the actual output. So this is our Arduino Uno board, and you can see that we are having onboard LED in front of digital pin number 13, and you can see that it's getting blinked, and this is blinking for every second. This blinking is happening for every second because the delay that which we have written in our program is for 1 second. Now if I go to change the value, let's try to change the delay value. Now, in order to make any changes in this program, we are not supposed to. So the drill is do not make any sort of changes. If at all if you want to experiment with this program, you are not supposed to make any changes in example program. All you got to do is copy this program. After copying, go to file, create a new file, create a new sketch. We will not call this as a program, we'll call this as sketch. Create a new sketch, again select all and paste it. So now we can easily experiment whatever experimentation you're trying to think of, you can do it in this new program. So here let me change this delay to 2000. So here 2000 refers to 2 seconds of delay. So the LED will be in on state for 2 seconds, followed by 1 second in off state. So let's try to save this program. So before I compile, I got to save this program, and we are having a nice drill for this saving of program. And that drill is go to file, and down here you can see save. After hitting on save, you can see that we by default will be in documents, and under documents I can see there is a default folder by name Arduino has already been created. I got to enter into that, and here is where I can create one more directory here. I can create one more directory, Blinky. Let me give the name as Blinky and let me enter into that drive. And after that, I can change the sketch name. And you can see that by default, it has assigned the file name as sketch underscore jan4. Let me change this to blinky.ino. Make sure that you always end. Let me zoom in this. Make sure that you always end your sketch name with .ino. Here .ino is nothing but last three alphabets of Arduino. So here Arduino is ARDUINO. So here the file name are always associated with last three alphabets. Any file name, any sketch file name should terminate with .ino here. So while saving, you got to be careful here. Make sure that you always add this suffix. Make sure that you always add this suffix .ino. So here we have successfully written or given a file name followed by and it's always recommended to give relevant file. Relevant file name followed by .ino, then hit save. Again, compiling is done. I can go for the upload option. So right now, this whatever changes that which we have made is getting compiled. Sadia Patak, is my voice breaking now, or am I good to continue? Sadia,
Sir, it's
other
breaking.
participants, is my voice?
Yeah, now it's audible. Now it's audible. Earlier it was breaking.
Okay, fine. We will continue then. Huh? Okay, right now we are done with this compilation, and this sketch has used only 932 bytes of memory. Now what I can do is I can hit on this upload button. So just by hitting on this upload button, again the same drill of compilation is being done followed by uploading. Or you can go for the shortcut. You can go for the shortcut Control plus U from your keyboard. We do also have this shortcut, and you can get to know about this shortcut under sketch. You can see that for upload, the shortcut is Control U. So right now we are done with this uploading, and you can see that. And if I try to change to the camera view, if I try to change it to camera view, you can see that this onboard LED on is relatively more than the off time. It's in the on state for more compared to that of off state. So that's how we can change, we can experiment, or we can think with. So whatever example programs that they have given, make sure that you don't make any sort of changes on the page, and you can Okay, right now we got to know how to identify compound number under 1 by participants. Let me try to work on it. Participants, you can take break for 5 minutes, and I hope we can resume later. Take break for 5 minutes. Okay, participants, I'm back. I hope I'm audible right now and my voice is not breaking. Okay, well. Now let's get back to our Arduino IDE again, because I'm left with less time. Okay, over here, let me try to take you through other options that are available. Under Sketch, we have something called as include library, because this Arduino community is so powerful that if you take up any kind of sensor, all its library has already been written. All you have to do is make use of the functions that are present in the library. For which, let's say I want to interface DHT sensor. Let's say I want to measure the room temperature as well as its humidity. For this, what I can do is, all I got to do is, I got to search for the specific sensor name DHT and followed by type interface, followed by other keyword is Arduino, and hit enter. Now, this Google search has returned with a lot of links. Let me go for the very first link. And down here, you can see that we can download this DHT library. So let me pinpoint this. We can download this DHT library somewhere from here. So let me hover my mouse to this. So just by doing this, we can you can see that DHT.zip is getting downloaded. and all the library files will be by default in zip format. So now we can see that this library file has been downloaded in zip format and it is available for me in my download, specifically compressed section. So this is where I'm having this dst.zip library. And if I want to include, now the thing is, next step is I got to include this zip file onto my Arduino IDE, for which I got to get back to my Arduino IDE and I got to hit on sketch. After hitting on sketch, I got to hover my mouse onto the list name include library, that which in turn open one more drop down list where I can find add.zip library, wherein I can find this under sketch. Let me repeat this: under sketch include library, and under include library we are supposed to hit on add.zip library. So after hitting on this, it should open one more window. It should open up a window wherein I got to browse to the path. I got to browse to the path where my zip file has got downloaded. So under downloads, under compressed. So this is where, let me zoom in. So this is where my DST library has got been downloaded. I got to select this file. After selecting this dst.zip file, I got to hit on open. And after doing that, I can clearly see this Arduino IDE returns me a acknowledgement that library added to your libraries, and I can also check that library by hitting on include library menu. So that's the confirmation message. That's the confirmation message by which I can get to know the library has got successfully added. All I got to do is, again, I got to hit on sketch, include library, and I got to hit on this down button. And I can see that here is where contributed libraries, specifically under which I can find DHT. So by hitting on to that, I can see that as include within brackets, I have got this header file. So if I want to make use of any function that which is present under DHT library, all I got to do is I got to go to sketch, include library, and I got to hit on this DHT. So you can see that it has got written twice. So that's how we can include any unknown libraries. All you got to do is you got to search for the sensor interface followed by Arduino. Then you got to download this specific library. After including that zip file by hovering your mouse onto sketch, include library followed by add.zip library, or the other way. So this is how we can add the library files offline. If I can also find the library files available online, for which I can go for manage libraries. So just by hitting on this manage libraries, so this Arduino IDE will return me with one more window, and I can straight away find the specific libraries online. So you can see that this Arduino IDE brings one more new window by title Library Manager, where it's getting downloaded. It's downloading all the library indexes. So it takes a while in order to download all the indexes of libraries. And let me tell you, all these are free to make use of. No one is asking for even for a penny, because this community is so powerful that you can get any kind of libraries for zero cost, for 0 rupees. So right now it has loaded all the indexes. The other way in by which I can find the library is here. There is a field in the top wherein I can type my keyword like DHT. I can type DHT and I can hit on enter. So it takes its own time in order to sort out or to filter the libraries that which are related to DHT, and you can see that it has successfully sorted only the libraries that which are concerned with DHT sensor, digital humidity and temperature sensor, and you can hit on this, and down in the bottom you can find the version number, as well as if I want to install this, I can easily hit on this install button. All I want to do is do that, and you can see that it's updating list of installed libraries. And right after installation, you can see the message that it has installed. And if you want to remove, you can go to documents, Arduino, and under that you can find this library, and you can delete it. So that's how we can delete manually. So by now we did got to know how to install libraries online as well as offline. And in our next day, we'll get to know the importance of something that is found under preferences, that is additional board manager URLs, wherein by default this field is empty. If your Arduino IDE is newly installed, this field, that is additional board manager URL, will be empty. But in our next day session, we'll see how I can make use of this URL in order to get additional board managers, specifically for Node MCU. Okay, that's it for now. That's it for now, participants. So if you're having any queries, please do put it in the comment section. If you're having any queries, please do put it in the comment section. Participants, if you're having any sort of doubts, please do put it in the chat, or if at all, if any doubts get sprouted later, you can put it in the WhatsApp section. Now let's break for our lunch. Can you please share? Yes, it's Prateek Kumar Jana. We will share the video links. All the video links.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, actually the signal was not clear while you were teaching about the library.
Yeah.
So could you kind enough to share the link for this video, sir?
Yeah, sure. Prateek. We'll share all the videos because it's a mandatory activity to share all the videos. This entire session is getting recorded and it will be shared.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Jayashri, how to remove installed libraries? All you got to do is, so right now I have installed this DHT library. All I got to do is, I got to go to documents. So this is my this PC. All I got to do is I got to go to documents, and under Arduino, we have a folder by name libraries. We'll be having a folder by name libraries. I got to enter into that, under which I can find this folder DHT, because right now I have installed this DHT. So it has, so that Arduino IDE by default will extract that zip file and it will paste all its content under this folder. And here is where you can find the documents associated with this library, that is the header file dht.h followed by dht.cpp file. If I want to delete this, all I got to do is select this DHT and I got to shift delete, or you can also do just normal delete. So that's how we can remove the already installed libraries. I hope that was the answer for your question. Mohit, sir, do you share as soon as possible so that we can also install software and start working? Okay, sure, Mohit, we'll do that. We'll do that. So if there are no doubts, we'll break right now for lunch. So is there any simulator we can use for demonstrating some basic programs? Yes, Rajat Batra, yes. We do also have the one more session wherein there are a lot of simulators wherein we will show you how to exactly demonstrate this without using any sort of actual hardware components. All the components are actually available in that simulator, and we'll take you through the software simulator as well as online simulator also. So be patient until then. We'll do that. We'll do that for sure.
Okay, we can meet next session, but